I'm a self-loathing individual, so I want to start this one off pessimistically by doing the one thing I've known how to do since the day I was born. Shitting all over myself. Many of you weebs watching likely know how making connections and maintaining relationships in real life can be super stressful. It's something I've suffered over relentlessly. To compensate for that over the years, my miserable ass has fortunately been able to relate with and form strong connections with the characters in various anime.
Wow, I put the USB in her with just one try.
When trying to form bonds with real people, there are just way too many unknowns about them to worry about. Meanwhile, if you're the outside observer to an anime world, it's great because you get to see the characters' inner dialogue, their day-to-day patterns, and their actions when other characters aren't around. This makes it so much easier to relate to them because you truly know who they are.
Well, usually.
Yeah, some of what I'm gonna say can also be applied to the characters from other fictional mediums, but hey, I love talking about anime, and for people like me, I think anime characters tend to have an extra layer of connectability.
Whoa, and she even takes micro USB!
I'd say one of the most commonly relatable traits of anime is that there are so many awkward, angsty, and or dorky characters who are typically going through a coming-of-age struggle. And let's face it, like many of us weebs feel like social rejects who never fully grew up, so those characters can seem like our mirror image. A character like Deku, whose conversation skills are an anxious mess, can inspire us through his desires to overcome them. Many times these guys are a part of series that one might argue take too long to finish, but that can arguably strengthen the bond one has with some of them. Having truly gotten into anime as a young teen, it's like I was growing up alongside these characters, going through time skips and emotional journeys together. With Naruto, we both started off as loser-class clowns. We grew older while continuing to fight off our inner demons, and eventually we both reached adulthood. He achieved his dream of becoming the Hokage? Well, I ended up stuck at working at a grocery store. Come to mention those inner demons, man, are there a lot of anime characters that appeal perfectly to teenage edgelords. Yeah, Naruto was my boy, but those Sasuke-type characters? Growing up, there were days when they really hit home. If you were bullied at all, like me, I'd bet we shared some of the same morbid dark thoughts. Thus, people like Light and Death Note were amazing for making you feel like you were living out a dark fantasy. Look, even Kanye was inspired by anime edgelords. Then we've got tropes like the yanderes to appeal to the ladies with daddy issues who still shop at Hot Topic. You'd think those edgy characters would be more fitting in an American setting, but because they're typically in Japan and being watched in another language, it adds this benefit of what I like to call foreign appeal. Paint me like one of your French girls. No, not that kind of foreign appeal. It's like, as weebs, many of us want to escape reality, so connecting with these characters in a different language and country, I believe that it makes you feel further away from your cliché American lifestyle while still being able to relate to them. And I could go on about all the character types that I could get into as well that anime has to relate with, as the medium has so many series that contain massive casts. You got a damn good chance of finding at least one person that makes you go, "Look, Mom, there I am, grab the camera!" Alternatively, you might find someone who's just a badass dude who gets stuff done and serves as a great fictional role model. Like, it can be so fun imagining yourself standing up to a bully with something like a Detroit Smash. In recent years, it seems like the anime and manga industries have grown increasingly aware of just how desperate and socially awkward the people who read and watch it can be. So many series are popping up that are straight up centered around sucking at communication, and frankly, I'm all here for it. With a show like Komi-san, it's obvious how it has appealed to so many anime fans through Komi's attempts at making friends, being held back by her barely being able to formulate words. At some point with all these series, you gotta stop and wonder if the industry is basically telling all us weebs that we're all hopeless and capable of nothing, which is absolutely true. I mean, look at the appeal and rise of characters with Chunibyo, basically those who display delusional behaviors and act like everything is some sort of magical fantasy, and that is well perfect for a medium full of fans who struggle with the downsides of growing up and still feel youthful inside. Now, for those of us who are at least a few years older than those characters, do you, like me, ever find yourself embarrassed over connecting so strongly with them? I don't know how to word this without sounding like the older dude in many hentai series, But that difference in age is part of the appeal. Cause like, looking back at my teens, there's a lot of stuff that I didn't do enough of or completely missed out on. It's a time where you can go through a lot of shitty situations, and I still feel the emotional ramifications of some of my own to this day. So if a high schooler in an anime is a depressed, anxious wreck, it can be quite comforting because they may be facing the same stuff I still haven't gotten over. Some people want to pretend that once we hit our 20s we're supposed to just immediately drop all our teenage angst like it's the second season of Promised Neverland. But damn can some of that angst stick with you. I see my younger self in a character like Eren who is lashing out at the world, and I find him helping me get over the past and inspiring me to commit mass genocide. The youthful series of awkward teens can also be great at making you feel young again and like you're experiencing whatever you missed out on. Like, I've always been horrendous with girls, so whenever I watch a series like Dress Up Darling with a very nervous guy getting close with an amazing girl, God has to close his inbox from the amount of times I wish that were me. And that now leads us to waifu culture, which is another huge part of how fans connect with anime characters. And because I believe in true gender equality, husbandos too. See, real girls have never seemed to understand me, but I don't have that problem with waifus.
This girl gets me.
Some of us get overwhelmed by the effort needed to find a real-life relationship, if we could that is, but then here comes anime to save the day with its husbandos and waifus. Characters designed specifically to seem extra appealing to us and like our ideal partners. And all you gotta do is just claim that they're your waifu, and bam, they're yours. And probably the sloppy seconds of hundreds of thousands of others. These waifus typically pursue awkward people like us, like Gojo from Dress Up Darling, so it's like I can put myself in her pants, I mean his shoes. Others, meanwhile, might claim a younger innocent character as their son or daughter, and well, it's a good thing anime characters aren't real or everyone's phones would explode from the amount of Amber Alerts. Waifu culture goes even further, as anime fans seem to be way more dedicated to its fictional characters than the fans of any other medium are. Our dedication is proven evidently on social media with so many fans representing themselves with anime icons, which is sometimes accompanied by them changing part or all of their name to an anime character's. Listen, Susie, no matter how many websites you change your last name to Ackerman on, you're still not gonna be legally married to Levi. It's like some of us have formed a connection so hard with certain characters that we've decided to basically become them. I mean, that's a big part of the appeal of cosplay and roleplay, isn't it? I won't lie, I told my mom to Naruto believe it a bit as a kid.
Believe what? That you're adopted?
Then we've got times where a character with a specific set of ideals gains a large following of avid fans, that it might even look like a cult. To these people, that character can never, ever do anything wrong. If that character answers 3 to 1 plus 1, then they are morally correct because having a rough childhood makes math hard. Ain't got time for addition when you're killing everyone, only subtracting. Next are characters like Haruhi, whose lifestyle and personality can be a way of life for some people. I don't like to judge, but boy are there a few characters who make me concerned with someone who relates so heavily to them. But then there's the reverse issue I have. Does anyone else ever feel someone taking a dump on a character that you strongly relate with, and it feels like they're insulting you too? With anime having a number of characters with emotional baggage, there will always be at least some viewers labeling them as too whiny, a pussy, or someone that's making all the wrong moves. Especially if it's your friend saying this, sometimes you just gotta go, wait, do they think I'm a total loser as well? What's funny is that I bet that most of the people complaining about these characters would end up acting the exact same way if forced into some of their situations. They just have spectator bias. Oh, sure, they say they'd pilot that robot with ease, but they can't even pilot a stick of deodorant. Now I know I've gone into the appeal of series with teenage characters, but if there's one thing I think that anime is lacking when it comes to connecting with the characters, is more stories centered around older characters. It'd be nice to switch things up sometimes, show me a cute MILF that I can relate with over paying rent and getting ass cramps. Regardless, I'm incredibly thankful to anime for having characters that weebs can connect so heavily with. They were there for us in times when we didn't have anyone else that felt similar. Maybe it's cringe, but they continue to help me get over a lot of stress and have shaped who I am today. I know some of us will always have that sort of, no one in real life understands me, I feel so alone mindset, But sometimes I think you just gotta tell yourself, hey, if someone out there is creating characters that I relate so heavily with, then there's a decent chance the author is making them based on their own personal traits or struggles. Someone out there that's just like you. So, you know what? I think I've inspired myself. I'm gonna go out there in the real world to find and build connections with real people just like me. Maybe even a real girl. Fuck anime characters, who needs them?
Oh no, this girl only takes Type C connection.
Okay, done with real girls. Back to anime characters.